This whole idea of meditation, one needs to examine as to why we meditate. What is the purpose of meditation? And generally, the common idea is that meditation is to achieve something, it is a means to an end. I see that my mind is restless. I see that there is a great conflict, a great irritation in my mind. My mind is restless. I see that the incessant thinking has lowered the quality of my life. So I wish to quieten my mind. And with that objective, I begin to sit down in complicated yoga postures and fixate my mind on an object. And I think that that is the way my mind will quieten, it will calm down. For some people, it is recitation of mantra. For others, it is focusing on an object like a candlelight or breathing. For some, it is listening to guided meditation or music. And there are different methods, different styles of meditation. But for me, it was very clear that meditation is not a means to an end. And what Jittu Krishnamurti said about meditation was that it is a general misconception that meditation will set your house in order. But it is the other way around. The house has to be set in order first before meditation can happen. And this is quite a complicated subject because meditation has been heavily promoted and advertised in that fashion. And I do not say that there are no benefits to other meditation techniques. Every meditation technique has its own benefit. But at the same time, it does not eliminate the conflict. It does not eliminate the restlessness of the thinking mind. So the natural question is, what is one to do? First of all, we investigate the disorder that happens within. So I say that right now I am this, and this is something that I don't like. Say I'm angry, I'm greedy, I'm running after pleasures, material, sexual, and all the different kinds of other desires. And somehow, doing that makes me less. It troubles my mind and I want to change. So there is a movement in the mind that I want to change because what I am right now is not acceptable to me. And in that endeavor, I learn about different meditation techniques. Technique A, Technique B, Technique C. And I try all of them. And whichever I find comfortable, I go with that. And then I also think that to set my house in order, that means to clear my mind of conflict, I need to meditate more. So my progress, I think, is directly proportional to the time I meditate, to the length of time, to the effort I put in meditation. And it's just the other way around. Any meditation in which effort is put is not meditation, because the effort distorts the entire process. It keeps the meditator alive. And in true meditation, there cannot be a meditator. So, till there is a sense of personal identification, identified with a certain image, no amount of meditation is going to dissolve the image. The dissolution happens when the house is set in order. That means when the thinking mind sees itself. Now see, this is a bit complicated because mind makes things a lot complex. Mind has the capability of introspection. So one thought can watch another thought. So where one thought says that I have a method to attain freedom, liberation, to know the truth, the other thought contemplates the techniques, the tips, the method to reach there. And so it creates this division. It creates this comparison between the two images. One image which is right now says that I am not enough. I was this, now I am this, and I want to be that. So it creates this division. And the effort is to bring the meditator from this to that. And there is an attachment to the outcome that once I am there, that once I achieve that, all my troubles, all my pain, all my suffering will vanish. But what is not recognized is that the existence, this sensation that there is an individual here doing things itself is the suffering. The seeking itself keeps the separation, and separation is suffering. So I'm constantly changing the images. One image is the subject, that is me, and the other is the future image that I want to be. Today I feel that I am restless. I want more calm in my life. I want more order in my life. I want my children to listen to me. I want my wife to appreciate my ideas. I want my husband to listen to me. I want my parents to be okay with me. I want progress in my work. I want this, I want that. All that is collectively creating an image that I project onto a future. And I think that through effort, by focusing on a certain object, maybe a breath or a mantra, slowly my mind will quieten, and finally I will achieve there, and then I will have it all. But that image remains unreachable because it comes out of a fiction, me, the sense of separate existence, and this image and the future image maintains this separation. When the thought sees its own futility, the futility of its own existence, it does not create parallel thoughts, it does not introspect, but there is an insight which is independent of thought. And this is to be understood, that insight is spontaneous, it is instantaneous. And then it is clear to me that what I'm seeking is a ghost. The image that I want to be is a ghost. So my meditation then is not a means to an end. I completely accept that there is chaos within me. I completely accept that there is restlessness within me and that I am completely powerless. I cannot do anything about it. I do not want to do anything about it. And in that sense of surrender, where the thought realizes its own divisive nature, the futility of its own existence, there comes a control. But that is not a personal control. There comes a sense of surrender, but that is not a personal surrender. That is a recognition, an insight. And the insight is now what is here and now. There is no future image, and there is no me here that projects a future image. So my effort is neither to become nor to unbecome. I simply examine the futility of changing. I allow the change to happen rather than trying to force a change on myself. So, the true meditation happens when the meditator, focusing on an anchor like a breath or a mantra, becomes the breath, becomes the anger, becomes the anchor. Then there is no separation, and hence there is no suffering. And one sees things for what they are, rather than what they should or should not be. Till the mind thinks that it can achieve this through effort, the struggle will always be on. The restlessness will always be there. The irritation will always be there. This process cannot be accelerated, it cannot be forced. Only it has to be understood. And that understanding is in the light of impersonal awareness of I am or being. Therefore, once I understand this, I don't see meditation as a tool to achieve an outcome. I simply be. And in being, I eliminate the separation between me, what I am right now, and what I want to be, which is again a part of the same me. It is a movement of the same me. I see the futility of it and it drops. And that is all there to it. That is what true meditation is. My children are playing downstairs, and I believe you can hear some noises. Look at them. They are the greatest example. These children who are playing downstairs at this stage of their life are not concerned with becoming this or becoming that. They're living spontaneously with complete joy. They don't require meditation because they live moment to moment. They're with their friends. They're enjoying themselves. They're not judging each other. They're simply in the moment. They're laughing with them, crying with them. Sometimes they're angry with them, but it's all momentary. And life is about living from one moment to another. There is no thinking going on. As in our case, it happens. We are always obsessed with thinking. Our images is our own creation. It comes from thought. It comes from the ego mind. And through recognition, which is not a personal recognition, one can see the futility of attaining, achieving, of progressing is in meditation. There is no such thing as progressing in meditation. If you're comparing yourself, you're not meditating. So the way I meditate is absolutely simple. I completely allow everything. Even if something makes me uncomfortable, even that is allowed. I'm not at all concerned about my progress of meditation. I'm not at all concerned with becoming this or becoming that. My whole point of meditation is to simply be. In being only I am, and not I am this or I am that. As Ramana Maharishi said, that your job is to be and not to be this or that. So the seeking has to end. The devotion has to end. The following has to end. Because if you remain a follower, you keep a separation alive and you suffer. So if you really have a compassionate guru, your guru's main concern should not be to keep you as your follower, as his follower or her follower. In fact, your guru should not at all be concerned with your meditation's progress. Meditation is something very personal to you. Meditation is going to reveal you images that are deep within your shadow. But if you're putting effort, see, what happens is that when we sit in meditation, it is but natural that the mind will move. To expect that there will be no movement is again a misconception. There is nothing you can do to stop the movement of mind. The mind will move. And what happens is that as soon as the mind moves in certain direction, because of its divergent tendencies, you immediately notice this movement, and then you want to bring it back to here and now. Now, when you put effort, what happens is that you pull your attention from that moving thought and you bring it here. And now you force your mind to be here. And the mind sees this. As I said, that mind is very complicated. One thought can see another thought. So there is always a seer in mind. So the thought sees that one thought the attention has been pulled from one thought and it has been brought here and now. Now it says that now I will ensure that the focus attention is always here and now. So we become vigilant. Now we don't want that to happen, because then we think that if our mind becomes divergent, we think that is hampering our progress in meditation. And that is again a movement in becoming or unbecoming. But if I'm not concerned, if the flow happens, as in if my attention goes outwards to a random thought and I let it be, at some stage, automatically the mind comes to the present moment. That is natural, but I allow it. If it flows, I do not resist. If it comes here and stop, I do not resist. I simply allow things to be the way they are. I don't know if all this makes sense to you or if it's too complicated. But this is the way mind works. Because the mind is always concerned with the outcome. Whether we know it or not, it is always concerned with the outcome. When we lose ourselves to random thought, we think that we have failed ourselves in meditation. That is how the ego traps itself. That is how it sets the trap. And that is how the thinking continues in horizontal time and becomes suffering. because it says that you have failed, you're not a good meditator. And then you convince yourself, you say that, oh, meditation is not for me. I came across an incident where there was this person who was suffering from depression, and they were advised to meditate. And the person meditated for a couple of months and reported great progress. And finally, he said that meditation has brought me out of my misery. Otherwise, I was trapped in my thinking mind. In the very next week, we hear that the guy has committed suicide, ended his life. Now, why does that happen? When the meditation is prescribed as a spiritual practice, it can itself become a roadblock to the real understanding. Because I start thinking of meditation as means to an end. It is not a means to an end. So first you understand the disorder which is happening within. You see the source of the conflict which is happening within. You see that it is the thought which is creating conflict. Once you see that in total awareness, you realize the futile existence of thought. The thought gets to know its own illusory existence. There is no thinking about it. It is a knowing, which is not a function of time. That is why we use the word insight or recognition. It is in that the change happens. And the change is not brought about through personal effort. If the change is brought about or forced through personal effort, it will not last, or may even produce disastrous consequences, like that which happened to that poor boy who committed suicide. If the mind is too much troubled, if the thinking is too much, and if it is out of control, it is okay to seek help. Because that is the domain of professionals. While they can help you with certain things, the true solution will come when you are able to totally look at yourself, when you are able to totally see the conflict and accept it for what it is. So the true bliss of meditation, the true joy of meditation happens when there is no expectation to the outcome, when there is no subject desiring an object, when there are no images. Only in that stillness the truth reveals itself through and through. Otherwise, what is prescribed is just a fad and nothing else. So I don't know if this makes sense or I'm just blabbering, I don't know. But this is what I think about meditation. Although I have written a book on meditation where I speak about different practices, but gradually I have come to a realization is that meditation cannot have a method. Meditation cannot have any fixed method. When you sit in crisscrossed legs, you're not meditating. When you are focusing on a mantra or breathing, you're not meditating. You are meditating when you are not there. When there is no you, when there is no meditator, then it is then that the meditation happens. Till there is a meditator doing something, there is no possibility of any insight, any recognition, any stillness. The ego mind has a tendency to draw its own conclusion based on random experiences. But when the real stillness is known, when the true nature is revealed, when the truth comes to light, there is no thinking, there is no analytical activity. It is simply accepted. The things are simply accepted for the way they are, and that sets the house in order. Thank you.